Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping in today. I'm back with a new layout for Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2020 July kits again. And I'm going to start this layout with another one of the beautiful summer cut files that you can find over on the Hip Kit website. And I cut it on this rainbow striped paper that I kind of cut and pasted because I wanted the color stripes in a different order. So I kind of did that off camera before I cut this, and it took me a little bit of time to get it off my mat. My original thought was I wanted to use the pieces that are stuck to the mat and then recreate that scene on a background. But once I peeled it off, I think I still like that. I do like that, but I kind of liked this piece better. So I think I'm going to use that instead and then save that part for something else. So I just left it on my cutting mat for the time being. So what I think I'm going to do is trim this out and kind of use it as the base of the design of the page. And I like cut files like this because it's pretty big and it's going to take up almost the entire page. And that is going to help me determine where to put a picture and where to embellish. And I love when that happens because, you know, cut files can just dictate your page for you, which is great if you struggle to come up with ideas. So once I put that on the background, I thought, okay, now I have an idea. I'm going to do all this mixed media on the background and go from there. So I chose a sheet of thick, smooth white cardstock, and I'm using clear gesso. And I've actually gotten a lot of questions recently on this gesso. It's from Finnabair. It's called Art Basics. You can get it at Michael's. I just ordered myself 2 more containers of it. I think it's like $8 and change from Michael's online. So it's pretty inexpensive, and I've been using the same tube for quite a while. So I'm letting the gesso dry, and I'm going to come in with some adhesive foam behind the cut file and go ahead and apply that to the entire thing because I want to pop that up off of the page, and it's going to create lots of texture and dimension. So we got that done, and I thought I would kind of recreate the stripes of the colors in the background. When I saw this cut file, I've been looking at it since I first saw it, and I kept thinking, how do I want to do this? Do I want to do the whole thing with cardstock and then color it myself? Do I want to do it on pattern paper? Do I want to use the pieces or the actual cut file? You know, all kinds of ideas started brewing in my mind, and I finally just decided to go for it. And I may use this again on another layout because I really do like it. So what I'm going to do is pull some mixed media products from various color kits from the last several months and find colors that match those stripes in the paper. And the first part up at the top there, I used the pink, and we got that a few months ago. That is the pink that I've been using a lot lately. It's the Art Philosophy Concentrated Watercolor, and I believe that is a Prima product. But it's called Blush, and it's a really pretty summery pink. And I did add a little bit of white acrylic paint to it, and I'm just using my brush with some water to help spread it around. And I'm going to try to do this sort of like an ombre effect, kind of one color blending into the next, because I wanted this at first to kind of resemble the beautiful colors in the sky, you know, around sunset. So that's kind of what I'm trying to achieve here. I'm using some of the ink pads to create the orange and the yellow section, and those are from the Stamp Market. We got those recently as well. I'm using the yellow, which is called Citrine, and the orange is called Melon, and I'm just kind of blending those together, basically making them into watercolors. And I love doing that with ink pads, even though, you know, they're created for stamping. There's obviously lots of other things you can do with it. I'm going to mix in a little bit of the red one too to kind of deepen the orange, and the red one is called Cherry Kisses. And we got all 3 of those colors. Oh, it wasn't last month. It might have been the month before, but they continue to work on, you know, future kits. So I always highly recommend getting the color kits if you liked mixed media, because chances are the colors are going to continue to work with more and more kits as you get them. And I've found that to be true for lots of the mixed media products. So I'm going to keep working on the yellow and orange sections. I like to bring the cut file back on top of it to see kind of how it looks. And I'm not trying to match up the colors perfect on the cut file, but once it's actually done, they kind of match up pretty well. And I've got, you know, the pink stripes are on the pink section and the yellow is on the yellow. And I think that it turns out really pretty because the background sort of enhances the cut file and vice versa without either one, you know, overshadowing the other. So I kind of let that dry. You can kind of see there, I've got the pink up at the top. The yellow is right where the yellow part is. And now I'm going to come into the blue part. And I was trying to be really careful to not reactivate the orange and mix that with the blue, because you don't want to mix those two colors together or you'll get a yucky brown. So I am pulling out the blue spray that I've been using pretty much on every summer page with my hip kits, and that is the Lindy's Starburst Spray in Tiffany Lou Blue. And we got that a long time ago, but it's still going. I probably down to about an inch left in my bottle because I've used so much of it, because it continues to match. Like I said, even though we got it a long time ago, it works for so many kits. I'm mixing in a little bit of the Mad Hatter Mint, which is another Lindy's spray. It's more of a green color. And I'm just trying to get down toward the bottom of the cut file that's going to mimic water. And I thought that I would kind of embellish down toward the bottom where this water section is going to be. And if you see this cut file, or if you've seen it, or if you've used it, then there's also at the bottom of it, it's not attached to this sunset scene, but it's the word summer in this really pretty scripty font. I don't wind up using that part of the cut file, but I do want to use it on something because I like the font of it, and it's nice and big. Lots of options to do with that. Alright, so you can kind of see where this is going. I really like how that looks. I love how the colors in the paper work with the colors in the background. I tried to match it up as best I could. The pink dried a little bit lighter, so I'm going to add another layer of that. And you know what was fun about this background was mixing and matching products. I used the concentrated watercolor that's in the little dropper bottle. I used ink pads, and then I used sprays. And I like that, and I think they all work together really nicely. So I let this sit for a while. I flattened it out overnight. I let it dry because my paper was starting to warp a little bit, but I think that's really pretty. I like that it's nice and soft, and yeah, I think that's going to be a nice background to work with. Here's my picture. It's a picture of me and my husband from last June. We went to Exuma in the Bahamas, and that was a picture that we took on the beach. And I'm sorry about my light there. That's going to happen a few times. I just get in the zone sometimes when I'm working on a layout and I forget to check my overhead lights, and sometimes they leave a glare on the picture and I don't notice it right away. So I do try to move it when I pay attention. I'm just working with embellishments here. There's a ton of cute summer embellishments. There are some simple stories, chipboard sticker sheets. There's some exclusive die cuts, and I just kind of pulled them all out and was going to play around to see what I wanted to put where. And then I decided that I wanted to add some texture to the bottom, to the water section of this layout. And this stencil is actually from the June kits. It's an exclusive stencil made just for hip kits, and I wound up not using it last month. And when I looked at it, I thought these kind of look like ripples in the water, or waves, the way that the scallops looked. And so I thought that would make a good texture for this water. So I pulled out the Nuvo paste that we got this month. It's a really pretty mint color. It was just a tad darker than I wanted, so I mixed it with a little bit of white acrylic paint, and then I added a squirt of the Lindy's blue spray. Again, I'm feeling like Rachel Ray here with all these ingredients, mixing and matching, and just adding a little bit of this, a dash of this, blend it together, and there you have it. And it works out great. I do a little bit over there to the right, and I didn't want to smush it down because it was wet, so I space it out and go a little bit over to the left and do it again. And I do have to mix up some more of this concoction because I didn't make enough the first time. But you get the idea of what I'm doing here. And the paste is really pretty. It's very shimmery and sparkly, but it does still work really well if you add other stuff to it, like I'm doing here. The shine may change a little bit, but I think if you're trying to achieve a certain color like I'm doing here, the consistency of it is still fine, and it still works great over a stencil. Now, there's a little space there in the middle. I'm going to let this dry before I go back on top of it, because the stencil would smush down what I've got there because it's still wet. So I tried not to overlap, because I'm bad about doing that when I'm using a stencil. I'll smush parts of it because I'm in a hurry. So I thought I would just kind of blend a little bit of the top out. So I'm just using a brush and some water there. All right, this is later, it's dry. I think that looks pretty cool. I do want to kind of add a little bit more in. So in the middle section where there's a little bit of a blank spot, I'm going to come in with some modeling paste. And I didn't want to go overkill with the mint color, and I did want to lighten this section up just a little bit. I felt like it was getting a little too dark, so I just thought by adding the white, it would soften it up just a little bit. And I did smush it underneath the stencil a little bit, so I brought out my scrapey tool to kind of fix it. And then I let that dry, and I thought to soften it up to where I wanted it to be, I would just smush some white gesso over the top of it. So I pulled out my little ink blending tool that I normally use for when I make clouds, when I make a cloud type of landscape sky on a layout. And I also use this for distress oxides, but now I'm using it for gesso smushing. So these little tools here are great for many different things, but I'm just lightening this area up a little bit. I'm not trying to cover up the texture or change the color of it. I still want the blue to show, but just a little bit softer. And I think this is just gonna kind of enhance the idea of it looking like water. But again, I do want it to be soft. I kind of want this background to be more on the pastelish side, since my picture's kind of light. A lot of the embellishments are light. There are going to be elements of bold colors, but I wanted the background to be more on the softer side at this point in the layout anyway, because you can see there the paper's kind of on the lighter side, except for that red section up at the very top. But in the end, that doesn't even really matter, I think. Okay, so here we go with embellishing, and there's my light on the picture again. I do move it eventually, so hopefully that's not too annoying. I pulled out some of the exclusives again. I'm going to work with these two little clouds. I'm definitely going to use that toucan bird because I wanted to use him on a few layouts and it just didn't work, but it's going to work. He's going to find a home on this page, and that makes me happy because he's so cute. I thought I would jazz up these two little die cut clouds, so I'm going to smudge some white gesso on those, just using my fingers there, and just sort of enhance the colors a little bit. I'm going to use some of the blue spray and just squirt a little bit on it, use my finger, use the brush, just to add some two-tone basically, so it's not one color. I'm going to do that to the blue in there, and then I'm going to come back to those two ink pads and add the yellow and the blue, no, yellow and orange. That is not blue, that's orange. Same thing, just smudge a little bit on, use my finger, use some water. And now if you're gonna do something like this, you've got to use gesso first, because the ink pads are gonna just, whatever part of that ink pad hits that paper, that's what it's gonna look like. It's not gonna smudge. It's gonna just stain it pretty much. So the gesso is what allows the smudging and the blending to take place. So I'm going to bring those back and see where I want to put those. I'm not sure just yet, so we'll just kind of leave them there for now. And I want to use this cute little daiquiri drink. I want to use some flowers, that little piece that says relax all day. I want to use that. And then I got to looking at the cut file and I felt like it was just kind of flat. I wanted to distress it a little bit. So that's where, again, the gesso comes in handy. And so it's just a little bit faded looking, and I like how that looks. It's a small effect, a small detail, but one that I notice and I like when I see it. Oh, there's Paige. I see her little hand in the corner. She's coming to give me kisses. She's been making several appearances lately. Yeah, she likes to come in and check out and see what kind of mess I'm making today. This is just white acrylic paint, watered down, splattering it down. I feel like it just kind of gives a little bit more something light to the background. And then we're going to work on building everything else at this point. I am going to come back to the background later because you know me, I'm never really done with the background, of course. But at this point, I really love how it looks. I'm going to add a pocket life card that's mostly pink behind the photo and distress the edges a little bit just to give it some texture. And the photo is going to go on the bottom right of the cut file right there. And I've been dying to use that die cut, that palm tree, and this is perfect, and it's facing the right direction. It's leaning in the right direction. It looks perfect right there. I was so excited that that worked. It's going to go right there. The toucan bird is going to sit right on top of that orange line, and I love that he's looking toward the left. I'm sorry, I don't even know my directions anymore. He's looking toward the right, so it looks like he's looking at the trees, and he's looking toward the photo. This is a clear stick, kind of a clear sticker. It's like kind of a vellum clear sticker from the Dear Lizzie sticker sheets. I'm going to use that, but I wanted to move it around like a die cut, so I stuck it to white cardstock first. And then I've got a couple pieces from Simple Stories. This is the little tiny puffy stickers from Maggie Holmes. I'm going to use some of those, the little camera, a couple of the little tiny butterflies. Some of the colors just matched perfectly. Again, I'm in the zone. I'm sorry about the glare on my picture. I'm going to wind up fixing that when I finally look up and see it. But yeah, I'm cutting these off of the sticker sheet with the plastic still on them so I can move them around because I'm not quite sure where I want to put them. This is another one of the Dear Lizzie stickers, sticker sheets. It's got those label stickers and phrase stickers, more Maggie Holmes stickers, some flowers, and these are kind of clear stickers too, so you can kind of see through those. So I don't want to see through them. I want them to be the true color that they are. So this is what I've been doing with these stickers, is just stick them to some white cardstock and then cut them out. And this layout has nothing to do with ice cream cones, but these ice cream cone stickers were so cute and they matched so perfectly and they just scream summer. So I put those on there. I'm going to cut out these flowers, cut out the ice cream cones, and the two flowers that I just cut out I tucked underneath the photo there, underneath the Simple Stories flowers, and then I added the ice cream cones around the photo as well as some of the little puffy stickers there. So just experimenting with clusters and things. I'm going to start to very slowly glue things together. I think I glued the clouds down already. I'm going to glue down that Simple Stories flower cluster and then the photo to that palm tree because I know that's exactly where I want it to go. And I love the palm frond overlapping the photo. I thought that worked out really well. And I don't want to overlap too much on the photo, even though there's a little bit of space on the left of the picture. I think I put a black and white flower there, but I want the ocean in the picture to be visible because it's such a gorgeous blue. And that was the whole point of me taking the selfie of us, was to get that blue water behind us. And I don't want to cover that up. So I want that to be visible. All I'm doing now is adding in some thread. I put some hot pink down at the bottom. Since I got to looking at it, and I want, you know, originally I wanted to keep everything soft and pastel, but that little toucan bird has some bold colors in him. And I thought, okay, if I'm going to use him, then I want to add some of that bold pink around the page. So I put the hot pink thread down at the bottom. I moved that relax all day right by the cloud, in between the cloud and the palm tree. I thought that it worked well there, and it brought some of the black to that area, since there's black in the bird, there's black in the photo. Well, it's mainly shadows, but it comes across as black. And then the relax is black. So I'm kind of spreading that color around. Yeah, I got the Maggie Holmes flowers down at the bottom. I've got the flower that's orange. I'm trying to wedge in there to the right of the picture, and a couple of ice cream cones. And I do end up using another palm tree, this little tiny one here that's on the Dear Lizzie sticker sheet. And I did stick that to white cardstock and cut it out, just like I did everything else. And then this little cluster is going to go over here to the left. The ice cream cone, the daiquiri, that little heart. It's a speech bubble, but you can't really tell because I'm going to tuck it in right there. And it just looks like a pink heart. And that's a little camera that's going to go there. And that says, I'd go anywhere with you. And I thought that was perfect, since we were on vacation together, and I like that it brings pink down to that section. And this was going to be a tough layout to do tone on tone, except for the background. When I added the background mixed media, I tried to get that tone on tone to match the ombre shades as close as possible to the striped paper, but everything else, the colors are scattered everywhere. I'm going to use that little tiny toucan bird that I cut from a Pocket Life card several layouts ago. He's going to work his way onto this layout too. And then I've been wanting to use these puffy stickers from Simple Stories. Have not used those yet. I'm going to use the word happy, and I like that it's yellow and it brings some yellow down to that section. And then I'm going to fussy cut out this sunshine. You know I can't make a summer layout without a sunshine somewhere, right? So it's going to go up there by the cloud, or the yellow cloud. Thought that was the perfect little spot for that. And then these are the Maggie Holmes clear black stickers, and they look like stamps when they're on the background, and I love that. So I'm going to use a couple of those in a couple spots. Yeah, it's getting to the point where we're going through the phase of everything looks cute. What else can I add? What else can I add? So that's what I'm going to keep doing. And I don't want it to get overly busy. But this layout has a lot of tiny little things on it. This piece I just fussy cut from that pattern paper says Paradise. I felt like I had to use that somewhere because Exuma, Bahamas is paradise. It's just stunningly gorgeous. That's a little gold sticker that said Wish You Were Here. And this is where I made the decision to add some gold. So I'm going to come back in with more gold here momentarily. Yeah, you can see here, I'm just, it's a case of I don't know when to stop because everything looks cute. You know, when you get on a roll, you're in the zone, you just keep going. And I try not to make it overly busy. I wind up removing that sticker that I cut up, or not cut up, but added to white cardstock earlier. Living for the Weekend, I wind up not using that. It just felt like I was making it work instead of letting it work on the page. I was forcing it, and it was just too busy. It's getting too busy. And I didn't want to cover up any more of the water section. I wanted that water, all that texture that I added with the stencil, I wanted it to be visible. So I didn't want to get too crazy with the embellishments. I'm coming in with these little black clear stickers, Happy in the Bahamas, that's the title. And the word Bahamas gave me a little shelf to put the baby toucan bird on. So now he's not just sitting in space, he has a place to rest. So he's on the M, the A and the M. Can you see him down there? He's tiny. But he's got some adhesive foam behind him, as well as that little flower that I just cut from a Pocket Life card. I felt like I needed something pink down there, and I needed something to fill that little space. Like Jen Scow says, nestle. So I wanted to nestle that little flower in there. And then these are so cute. They look like little gold suns. They're in the pink paisley embellishment pack there. So I pulled out a couple of those. I'm going to glue those down. And they were the perfect gold. Now, you want to see me make a boo-boo? Watch what I'm fixing to do. Did you see that? Look at that. Yeah, have I never splattered before? Cover up your picture, people. Did you just see that big blob of gold? A, it landed on the photo. B, I wasted a big glob of this gold spray. Never waste the gold. Never waste the gold. I mean, Luckily, it wiped off pretty well, and it didn't land on my face, but there's going to be a little gold smudge on the picture. But you know what? Oh well, I was not about to redo it. I felt like I needed a pop of darker, bolder pink up at the top, so here's where I come back in to doctor the background a little bit more, and I just add a little bit into the corners up at the section where the pink section is. And I like how that looks a lot better. I felt like it kind of brought the dark pinks full circle. And yeah, I feel like we're getting close. This is plenty busy, but I did need some journaling. I tried to make a couple more stickers work, but I didn't like the way it looked. I felt like it, nope, we're gonna try it again. We're gonna put it back because just too much. I don't need that dark of a pink up there. I got enough pink. I felt like it was fine. So I put that back, and I do add a couple of these. These are white. They're very subtle. A couple of the Maggie Holmes stickers, and I'm going to use one for my journaling. So I'm going to kind of wedge that underneath the flowers here and just write a little bit of how gorgeous this place was and how, you know, everything was beautiful. It was a paradise because I took so many pictures. You know, I have a lot of pictures that are similar to this, and nothing fancy is going on. We're just hanging out in the ocean, enjoying the beauty. So, wrote that right there, and that's gonna work for the journaling. And then yes, we're still going with these little tiny stickers, but yes, it's busy enough. We're almost done. I do add the date off camera, but we are wrapping this baby up. Let's see the final image. Here it comes. Here it comes. Dun, 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 dun. There it is. I really do love how this turned out. I feel like it's plenty busy, but the background still stands out. The photo still is in focus, and it was so much fun to make this. I actually took like 4 days. I had a week where I wasn't super busy, so I could take my time and space this out and work on it a little bit at a time. And I just love the mix of all these products, you know? I feel like there's so many possibilities with this cut file, and I've seen several of the girls on the team use it in such completely different ways. And so I hope one of those ways inspires you. I hope this gives you some ideas to try. Like I said, I already have a couple more ideas that I want to try with this particular cut file, just from a mixed media standpoint. But I took a bunch of close-ups as usual. So hopefully this gave you some ideas to try. And I hope you will, you know, leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions or anything that I might have left out. But I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.